Hi, everyone. We are live, and I am here with the lovely Lauren Kleinman from Dreamday LA. I'm going to give you all the information about her amazing career as well as what she's doing right now. But as a quick intro, I'm Wyatt, co founder of Female Founder Collective. And we have been up to a lot of things this fall. September is always crazy, I think, for every single business, but especially ours. And we yesterday launched our platform, The North, in partnership with WebEx by Cisco. And that is a platform that is essentially an expert advisory marketplace. So you can go on and find people in almost any industry and book time with them. And we have the first 100 hours have been donated by these incredible individuals that are participating. So go grab them while they are fresh. And we also have our next cohort of 10th House, which is our private membership community, that is going to be closing out in mid-October and starting at the end of October. So definitely go in and join. And then finally, the last thing, we have a trio of things, is we have Female Founders Day happening on 11/11 in Los Angeles. Tickets are live. They're still early bird, but we have about one or two left. So go and snag those as well. But without further ado, super excited again to have Lauren Kleinman here. She is the founder of Dreamday LA, and it is a first of its kind performance PR agency sitting at the intersection of affiliate marketing and commerce PR. And we're going to get into what both of those things are if you don't know. She has reinvented herself plenty of times during her career, eventually leaving a full-time in-house job to start her own consultancy. So everybody, she is a beacon of hope for us all, that you can go out and do the thing that you're great at and start the thing on your own. She has the goal of a healthier work-life balance and time for her own vision, and she named it Dream Day, which is truly Dream Day. And it supports innovative direct-to-consumer companies. And with Dream Day, Lauren has pioneered the concept of performance PR, which I got to talk to her about a little bit before this, and we'll talk about today, connecting the best brands with the best publishers on a fully performance affiliate only basis. And so here we go. I'm super excited to get right into it. And the other thing I should note as well, she has the Quality Edit, which curates the best direct-to-consumer brands with the modern consumer, with hundreds of direct-to-consumer partners. So definitely check that out as well. So I want to get right into the various forms of PR, because I think it's certainly an industry and a sort of department, when you think about it in the context of the greater corporate world, that has evolved tremendously since the advent of social media, since basically publishing became blogging as well, and you just had this proliferation of content. Can you talk to us about the main forms of PR when it comes to what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much, Allie, for having me, and congrats on everything you've built with Female Founder Collective. It's such an incredible community, and I'm so excited to be chatting here with you today. To get into it, so traditional PR, which is also known as earned or editorial PR, is when publicists pitch to producers, journalists, reporters, etc., some sort of compelling story, hopefully. And this would be basically covered organically without any affiliate links or without any paid involvement. So some publications like the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and Fortune, actually the Wall Street Journal just rolled out a commerce site called The Buy Side, and New York Times obviously also has Wirecutter. So even the traditional ones are also getting into really the commerce space. But these are some of the more like traditional publications that do not utilize affiliate links, even when they mention a product. This is still, great form of PR. It can still lead to increased traffic, obviously cachet, credibility, organic sales, but it's much less performance oriented than affiliate PR, or what we call performance PR. So performance PR, what we do at Dreamday is basically sitting at the intersection of commerce or consumer PR. So basically anything that's really PR that's trying to sell a product, that is utilizing affiliate links, wherein basically the publications are making a percentage of the sale anytime they anytime they sell a product. So you're basically mixing, commerce PR or product focused PR with affiliate marketing, really focusing in our case on top tier publishers and top tier publications. So basically, anytime any of our stories from our clients go live, 99% of the time they're utilizing an affiliate link, and therefore the publishers are making money on referring those brands. And in that way, it's a mutually beneficial partnership. And publishing, as you mentioned, has really evolved, wherein publishers are naturally going to care more about brands that are driving sales for them and really resonating with their audience. And as print has died and, the rise of kind of digital, like this is one of the main revenue streams that, publishers are kind of counting on. So that is kind of the difference between, traditional PR and performance PR. There's also, pay to play, which could be a form of affiliate marketing if the brand basically pays a flat fee to the publisher. Pay to play could also just be through traditional advertising. But basically the model difference would be editorial PR, you're not paying publishers anything. Performance PR, you're paying publishers a small commission off of every sale that they drive. And pay to play would be like, I'm going to pay this publication, $50,000 to write this editorial or for this specific placement or buy.
I have a question for you, and this is sort of a nitty-gritty technical question because I used to be on the publisher side, and oftentimes as a publisher, you would only work with certain affiliate partners like Skimlinks or there are some other really big ones that are out there, and you couldn't sort of swap them out. Do you, when you're working with your clients, do you have a preferred partner on the affiliate front as well, just knowing which one is sort of predominant with the publishers?
Yeah. So we always definitely recommend, and I think it's lucrative, necessary, that you are with one of the platforms that are the ones that publishers are utilizing most frequently. Yeah. Those include like ShareASale, Partnerize, Pepper Jam, Impact. Those are kind of the main big ones that come to mind. We always recommend to clients, if you're under $150,000 per month in affiliate revenue, to go with ShareASale. And then once they're basically over that, to migrate to Impact, just because it has better data and analytics and reporting capabilities. And then Skimlinks is actually a little bit different than that, in that those platforms manage your entire affiliate platform or marketing, I should say. Whereas Skimlinks is actually a sub-affiliate platform. So once you're onboarded into ShareASale, you would actually partner with Skimlinks, and then Skimlinks basically opens up the network of opportunities for any publications that are on Skimlinks. And then basically from the publisher side, you're right, some publishers have exclusivity with just Skimlinks. For example, I think Refinery29 still does. But then most of the publishers basically will be able to kind of pull links from either Skimlinks or from their ShareASale directly, depending on the publisher.
And then for those brands that have multiple retailers, right? Like they're a direct consumer brand. And I don't know if you work with sort of only direct to consumer, right? Where they own their channels, or do you work with ones that have maybe are sold at multiple retailers in addition to their own platform?
Yeah, it's so interesting because I think the direct to consumer industry at large has really evolved. And back when I was founding team and VP of marketing at Ritual, I feel like D2C was such a, sexy kind of coveted thing. And every founder was like so precious about like, we're D2C only, one-to-one relationships. We'll never go into retail. We'll never go into Amazon. And then obviously the advertising landscape, really shifted over the last couple of years, especially with the Facebook, iOS updates. And I think as, it became more competitive and almost like untenable to buy ads on Facebook, which was all these D2C brands, like primary or, main source of acquiring customers in terms of their marketing mix, a lot of these D2C brands hit kind of the ceiling of like, we've acquired every customer that we can on paid social, and now we need to diversify. And I think that also speaks to just like changing landscape in terms of consumer habits as well. But I think it used to be, D2C only is so precious about it. And now it's like, we need to meet consumers wherever they're at. So if that's on TikTok or, at here we have like Sprouts, or whatever, Target, like that is where we need to be. And so we work mostly with businesses that are largely direct to consumer, but we have definitely seen that evolve even, significantly over the last year to brands really looking to diversify their marketing mix, and they do go into retail. And in those instances, as it relates to what we're talking about, yes, sometimes it can make the attribution tricky in that, let's say we have a great story on a brand in Vogue and it's utilizing affiliate links. Let's say it's on like a sparkling water, for example. Let's say we have a sparkling water client. You might read that Vogue article and think, oh my gosh, this, brand is so awesome. It sounds amazing. Can't wait to drink it, whatever. But then you might be like, you know what? I got to get groceries tonight. Like, I'm not going to order this on the website where I might have to pay extra shipping costs. And it's just like not as organic to your user experience. I'm just going to pick it up at Target instead. So in that instance, like obviously we don't see any attribution through the affiliate channel. Because, you're just going and picking it up in person. But I think we have different ways of kind of evaluating the impact still of that press, whether that's traffic driven to the site or like a post-purchase survey capture where people are saying the articles that they heard about, the brand from in different ways. But the majority of our clients are largely direct to consumer. And that really helps us, quantify our value at the end of the day.
Right. And the other thing I was going to ask is if they are multi-channel, right, how do you think about prioritization for the affiliate marketing specifically, right? Like if, for example, and maybe it depends on sort of the campaign, and I might be answering the question myself, but, maybe they have certain exclusives with different retailers, but it was always a challenge for brands because in a sense, they were competitive with their retailers. So how do you sort of manage that demand and flow and prioritization?
I might need you to help me understand the question a little bit more.
So
Yeah.
when they are multi-channel, right?
Yeah.
And oftentimes we as publishers would accidentally direct you to Neiman Marcus because they
Gotcha.
also carried your product.
I understand your question.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, in this instance, so for example, we have a jewelry client now that never had affiliate running at all. And that was, we felt like a huge area of opportunity for them, and they as well. And so publishers would link out to where you can buy the product, which for them is like on Net-a-Porter or on some of these, high fashion sort of websites. So now that we have the affiliate program, it's obviously much more beneficial for the brand to go direct and form a direct relationship with the publisher and have them linking out through their affiliate program versus just sending that traffic to Net-a-Porter. And so we kind of audit, and in almost all cases, the brand is going to prefer that customer is purchasing the product on their site versus on the retailer. I don't think we've had one instance where the brand was like, oh yeah, we love, when the publisher links to Amazon, unless it's like 10 products you can buy on Amazon, is kind of like the story angle or something. But otherwise, we actually, one, proactively are obviously pitching the, affiliate link to publishers or to editors that they should be using. But two, retroactively, let's say that BuzzFeed sends, in that instance, to Net-a-Porter, we will go back and reach out to that publisher or editor and say, we can offer a more competitive commission rate if you're able to send the traffic and switch out the link directly to the brand website. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that definitely answers my question. And then because for publishers, and this is just sort of being on the other side of the fence again, it was easier to promote that brand for Net-a-Porter or a bigger retailer because of the way that the product was perhaps shot. Like in Net-a-Porter's instance, they would have this lovely white background. So from a just purely technical standpoint, you could use Photoshop and actually quickly silhouette the product and use it as like a flat lay without creating your own image.
Right.
Are there certain things that you encourage your direct consumer brands to do in order to be able to be better featured? And then how do you also sort of gain that competitive advantage when it comes to working against retailers that are carrying way more products and way more brands?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think at the end of the day, from the publisher's perspective, they're thinking about what is going to be the best experience for the customer, right? Like they don't want to be sending traffic to a website that's broken and then have that customer bounce and like ultimately, be frustrated and not purchase the product. So to answer your question, I think one, creative is so important. Well shot images, like you said, like with a white background that they can easily feature and pull from. We require that from all of our clients. And I think we also really require that you have like a well-working website that has a high conversion rate, because that's another thing that you'll see is like publishers might want to send to Amazon because it comes in 2 days and, or, the Prime, experience is, people feel comfortable with that experience and it's going to have a higher conversion rate maybe than sending to the site. But I think with the types of brands that we work with, we don't really have that issue. Like, I think Fly by Jing is actually a great example of a client of ours that they're on Amazon, but they're also on their website. But if you go to their website, like their website is like badass and gives such a more colorful storytelling experience, than Amazon. So I think, intentionally seek out brands where like that is the case. And I think that, publishers largely, would tend to send to, in that case, like Fly by Jing versus Amazon. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the first thing. And then I think, just making sure that like the client has a high conversion rate and that they have really clear imagery is going to be like really important. And then the last piece would probably be just making sure that we're auditing kind of where publishers are tending to send traffic, whether that is Amazon or let's say Net-a-Porter or whatever, and making sure that the commission rate going to the brand website is going to be higher than that, so that they are going to be, more competitive than sending to other places. Let me know if that fully answered your question.
Yeah, no, that does. But I think more high level, zooming out from just purely the affiliate perspective, so many of our founders are trying to figure out like how does one stand out in such a crowded marketplace? There's more brands popping up every single day. Do you have sort of more high level advice that you can offer founders as you're sort of thinking about PR strategy, or when you're onboarding a client or determining even who you want to work with? Because I'm sure that you have a lot of choices on who you can take on. How do you think about some of the first steps that they can take, or evaluating a very sort of PR and affiliate PR oriented brand that you would love to work with?
I'll start with, the first kind of part of the question. So maybe this is like oversharing, but we have a pretty extensive checklist that we've actually developed internally for what we've seen work really successfully with this type of model. And we are lucky to have a lot of demand. We are a boutique agency. We're like extremely surgical about the clients that we take on. And in fact, in this like checklist, it has to tick as many of these boxes as possible that we're looking for. Just because, we have a largely female, brand. I would say we work largely with female founders as one of our filters, and love helping tell, female entrepreneurs' stories. We also work with a lot of very diverse founders. And then in terms of kind of like, the check boxes that we're looking for, I think one, like a strong brand story. In other words, like the why to why this company was founded has to be there, and it has to be strong. It can't be like, oh, this is just like, and honestly, I had a guy once that was like pitching me on his bikini line, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like pitch this to press. It's too difficult. Why did you come up with this bikini line? And he's like, I saw a business opportunity. I was like, I can't work with that.
Right.
I think we are looking for, brands that have a really authentic and strong kind of founding story to tell. A strong product market fit is really important. We test and try the products ourselves before bringing on clients. And the product has to be able to speak for itself. I think our job is to get the product into the right people's hands, whether that's editors or bloggers or, affiliate heads or what have you. But ultimately, it's the product's job to sell itself after that. I think having a strong product, just like the effect of that has been like some of our strongest case studies where editors are telling us, I can't live without the Clever matcha. Like I drink this every single morning. This is my favorite product. And those are where we see like I think the strongest press kind of come out of. What else? We do look for brands that are kind of like Instagrammable, that have really strong kind of brand identity, strong photography, because again, from a publishing perspective, like those are going to be the types of brands that are really going to stand out in that, listicle or stand out in that article, since there are just so many different things to choose from. And then what else? I talked about, just having a great converting website. I'm sure more things will.
You find that, what would be more important, a great product or a great story or a great brand? I think those are sort of three key ingredients you just listed, right? But It's interesting that you say, it's important to have that brand story, because as an investor and somebody who's on the other side of pitches, a lot of times I'll hear people, talking about a product that's a highly commoditized product, and they don't honestly have a great story, right? Like there's no reason that they should exist alongside the myriad of options that are out there. But then at the end of the day, you try the product and you're like, oh, this is why it exists, right? Because it's that much better when you actually try it.
Do you invest in those companies?
No.
So I think we're kind of the same.
It's hard to get to that, to that space where I'm like, it's going to be hard for you to break through the clutter because you don't have the story.
Yeah.
That's going to set you apart.
We feel the same way.
Yeah.
We feel the same way where, it's just, I think a good product on its own is just a good product, but it's not interesting. And we look for the interesting stories that are authentic and that are, really mission and vision, driven. And that just adds that extra depth that, are not only going to be the brands that we are authentically going to want to stand behind and say, like, we're going to pour 110% into this, brand or client every single day. But also like what is going to resonate, with editors and really provide a more interesting story at the end of the day for consumers.
And I have an interesting question for you as somebody in PR and comms. The other night I was at a women's dinner and there was a venture capitalist, and she said that she was looking at the performance of her companies. A lot of them were female founded. And granted, it was a seed stage venture firm, so early days, right? They hadn't reached scale at all yet. She said that the ones that were more in the press were actually lower performing. What I'm curious about from your
performing in terms of overall revenue or
just overall performance of the business, their numbers, their financials.
Okay.
And what I'm curious about is what you believe the founder's role is in telling that story and being out there, right? How should founders, and certain founders don't want to be forward facing, right? They want to have their head down, they want to operate.
Yeah.
What would you say do you believe that all founders should be playing a role that's forward facing? One, and two, what do you think that role should be in order to propel the brand forward?
Yeah, it's hard because I think that, we maybe have a few clients, or even, historically other companies that I've worked with, like the founder did not want to be super forward facing. They were just private people that like
Yeah.
didn't want to put their story out there and didn't want people to know about their family or whatever it was. It felt too personal for them. Um, my honest answer is to be competitive in today's day and age. I do believe the founder has to be out there.
Yeah.
And for these types of brands that we're talking about, like if it's the guy doing the bikini line, no, don't go out there. Like, don't let anyone know who you are.
Co-founder.
I'm just kidding. I'm being a little like harsh on that one, but I think that for the types of brands that we work with, it is important for the founder to be out there, to be available to press for opportunities, because a lot of times, obviously, press wants to talk from them, but also just if you think about the world of opportunities in PR, like a lot of those end up being interviews for the founders, or at least like we're looking for insights from the founder in terms of like, overall trends that we're seeing, for example. And without the founder, being involved in the story, I think one, like the story falls flat as to like the why behind the brand, but two, it just narrows like the amount of opportunities that you can have in terms of the press impact that you can make, if they're not really willing to put themselves out there. And like I said, I think it's so competitive today that I think the brands that are going to be most successful are the ones where the founder is kind of, out there explaining why they're doing what they're doing. And regarding the seed stage, I'm so curious. You have to connect me to that investor because I want to like better understand what that correlation is. We work with a lot of D2C brands that have very high volumes of press. We have one client that gets 150 hits consistently with us every single month. And they're a very like successful business. So I'm curious. I'd say that's the majority of all of our clients.
Correlation with the fact that if you haven't figured out your business yet, right? Maybe if you haven't figured out, like you're talking about, your story, what your value proposition is, your customer experience, like you were saying, you need a well-performing website.
Yes.
And most of the time,
you're like neglecting the business because they're out there so much. I totally understand that.
And before you're ready, right? Like you want to direct people to your house when the foundation's not even totally set, right?
That's actually a good point. And one of the examples I shared before where the founder wasn't comfortable in the beginning, after the fundamentals of the business were in and they found product market fit and they, have a higher valuation and all these things, like then she kind of came out and started really being at the forefront. So yes, absolutely. Don't have press be a distraction. I think press is there to support the story and the company once all of the groundwork and like the foundation has been set.
Yeah, I love that. And then, just as founders are thinking about, okay, how do I prioritize my time and my resources and my investment when it comes to PR and communications? Do you have any, for people who are sort of starting out and have these tiny budgets, what would your recommendation be as they're thinking about this great big world and of press and trying to sort of be everywhere and be everything? Like, what should they zone in on?
I mean, it really depends on kind of their goals, and are they trying to get credibility or are they trying to move product? And I think there's different press strategies that I would recommend for whatever their goals are. But I think, if are you saying like if they're going to be pitching, like what are some tips for them?
Yeah, I guess if they figured out that triad that we talked about, right? Their story, they've got a wonderful product now, and they have a wonderful customer experience, and they're a direct consumer brand.
Yeah.
Like, if they had to focus on one thing and they had very little money or resources, what would you suggest they start with?
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe the lowest, I don't want to say the lowest hanging fruit, but I think the maybe highest impact thing would be to start with kind of this idea of performance PR to make sure that you have an affiliate program running that publishers can, discover you and earn money when they talk about your product. And really focus on like the commerce and consumer PR, because that is what is going to be really helping you kind of move the needle for the business. And that especially applies to like if you already have, 5 or so, if you're a new company and you already have 5 or so, great stories that are kind of more like the stake in the ground sort of stories of why you started the company. I think that then it's kind of the time of like, okay, let's test trying to get the product into as many editors' hands as possible, where it makes sense, obviously, with the publications that our product would resonate with and with the editors that are going to think this is interesting. Have them try, the product, hopefully write about it, and then start to kind of gain insights of, okay, we, seem to perform very well with a strategist. How can we, really deepen that relationship? How can we potentially offer them exclusive discount codes, or get some sort of additional placements, whether that's in a sponsored capacity or a higher affiliate commission rate, for example, that can really increase our exposure with them. And start to get those insights and kind of apply them into the rest of your press strategy.
Love that. I think that's specific and super helpful. And I just have one final question for you before we let you get back to your busy day. And that's just as a founder, right, yourself, and having been an executive at a very fast growing startup business, do you have any one piece of advice that you've found to be a great guiding light for you that you might share with
One piece of advice? Yeah. I think like one of the things that applies to both businesses with, Dreamday, but also the quality edit, is really like probably doing less better. I think we've applied that to kind of everything that we do. And I would say, as it relates to Dreamday, like I said, we really are surgical about the clients that we take on. And our goal is to, drive the best case studies for them. We won't take on a client if we don't think we are going to be successful. And I think it's that less is more approach of, we're going to have less clients, but we're going to do it very well. And that's going to create kind of this like viral, I think, flywheel effect of like, all of our clients now like pretty much came from clients that we have that where the founder just word of mouth told another founder. So I think really, less is more. And I guess, quality over quantity is kind of a guiding light.
I love that. And it's like a reminder as a founder that you constantly have to tell yourself.
Yeah.
To not try to do so much.
Another thing as it relates to that, the last thing I'll say is just everything that you, what I think something that I'm trying to do more actually is say no to more. Everything that you say yes to is like that time, spent that you could be doing something that's more productive or going to, be time that you can be thinking about the next stage of your business. So really tried to say no more and be very, targeted in terms of what my priorities are.
I love that. That's helpful for me to remember as well, because you often think that you're being generous by saying yes to something, but you're saying no to something else.
Exactly.
So
you said it better than me.
It's very intentional.
Yes.
Love that. This is so helpful, Lauren. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sort of behind the scenes, Lauren and I have similar circles, and I've just heard the most incredible things about her and her work in Dreamday. So if you have the means and you fit her check boxes, you're there for good reason, definitely reach out to her because she's truly the best professional there is at what she does.
Thank you so much, Allie. That's so nice. And thank you so much for having me and all of your thoughtful questions.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.